Welcome to day 19 of How to Stop Binge Eating. I am so excited for you guys to be here. Day 19 of How to Stop Binge Eating is understanding the difference between disordered eating and choosing nutritious foods because you enjoy eating healthy and you like how it makes you feel. I know you want to prioritize your health. I know you care about your health. I know you really enjoy eating healthy. But where's the fine line? Hey, Courtney. Hey, Ash. Hey, Emily. Where's the fine line between I am wanting to eat healthy because I enjoy it and I need to eat super healthy? And if I eat something that's processed, or if I don't eat something that I deem as healthy, you get anxiety. So let's kind of talk about the difference. Enjoying eating healthy is such a beautiful thing. You enjoy eating healthy because it gives you energy. You feel really good. You probably perform a lot better in your workouts. You're productive at work. You have higher energy. Like, it makes you feel really, really good. And when you are choosing nutritious foods with the intention of, I want to feel my best, I want to live a long life, that is healthy. That is incredible. But if you are choosing nutritious foods because you have this obsession with eating healthy, you have this obsession with getting in vegetables at every meal, you have this obsession with, I can't have outside food because of the oil or the butter or what they cook it with, that's the problem. So a few years ago, when I was on my journey of healing my relationship with food, so I actually grew up as a dancer. And I always enjoyed eating healthy. Like, it never felt like a chore for me. How many of you guys can relate? How many of you guys enjoy eating healthy? Drop a me in the chat. Drop a me in the chat if you're like, I enjoy eating healthy. Hey, Alyssa. So for me, I really enjoyed it. Like, some people are like, oh, like eating healthy is so boring. And I'm like, I freaking love it. Like, I absolutely love it. Jillian says me, I love it. So, but I've always enjoyed eating healthy, but it turned into an unhealthy obsession where my mom would cook something for me when I used to live at my parents' house, and I'd be upset that she cooked something with oil because I didn't see that that was healthy. I would bring my own food to social events. I remember one Thanksgiving, I literally brought my own food because I was so anxious about eating other people's food. I went to a wedding. I was sitting there at a wedding eating my plain chicken, plain broccoli, because I was terrified of eating the outside food. Yes, Sophia, if you have a question, you can drop it in the chat. That is disordered. Choosing healthy foods because it makes you feel really good is different than, I can't eat outside food, I need my own food. It's like your sense of control, like you need to control everything. That's disordered. That's not healthy. And so still to this day, Andrew and I, we go to the farmer's market every single week. I buy organic vegetables, grass-fed meat. I really love prioritizing my health. I enjoy eating healthy. It makes me feel really good. But if I have something that's processed, I don't freak out. If I go out for dinner, I don't freak out. I'm choosing. When you have a healthy relationship with food, you have choice. When you have a healthy relationship with food, you have the choice to either choose this nutritious food or you choose something else that's maybe less nutritious, but either way, you're okay. So if you choose the more nutrient dense foods, you don't feel deprived. And then if you also choose maybe the less nutrient dense foods, you don't spiral into a binge. This is the beauty of a healthy relationship with food. But when you have disordered eating, you're so concerned about eating super healthy and being so particular that if things don't go perfectly as planned, then you just say F it and you binge. when I was on my journey, do you guys remember wheat thins? Maybe some of you guys, they're crackers. They're called wheat thins. And I enjoyed wheat thins. But in my head, I used to see them as bad because they were processed and I probably shouldn't be eating them. So I would never allow myself to have wheat thins. And so I would only eat wheat thins on the days where I would either go out for dinner or my mom would bake something. So I saw it as the opportunity to eat this like quote unquote bad food, these processed crackers. And I couldn't just have a few. It was like, well, I normally like don't have these processed crackers and oh my gosh, I'm not eating healthy today. And then I would binge on the whole box. What's actually more unhealthy is binging on the whole box. What's even more unhealthy is the obsession with trying to be so healthy. What's even more unhealthy than just having the cookie or having the cracker or having the pizza, whatever it is the stress and the anxiety that you're putting on yourself. And I tell this to my clients often who are scared to, eat certain foods. I said, listen, it is way better for you to have the cookie than be so up in your head thinking about eating the cookie and then the guilt and the shame. There's nothing worse for you than stress and anxiety. So it's much better for you to just have the food that you actually want than to be spending all day stressing about it. So you can still prioritize your health, but what is the intention behind it? Is the intention behind it of like, I can only eat this, like, and you're like obsessed with eating super healthy? That's disordered versus I want to feel good. Like I want to have energy for my workouts. I want to eat super well. And you don't see it as restriction. For a lot of people, what I see is people go from one extreme to the other. So when people start healing their relationship with food, they're like, wow, like, I could really, I could eat the brownie. I could eat, other foods. Like I don't have to order the salad or I don't have to eat protein and vegetables at every single one of my meals. So like, I'm going to order the pizza or I'm going to get this. And they go from one extreme to like the other. And then they see choosing a salad as restriction. They choose having grapes as a snack as a restriction, and that's not restriction. Again, a healthy relationship with food could mean you choose grapes for a snack, but that's not you feeling deprived. You actually are craving that. Does that make sense? So the disordered eating would be like, I need to have the blueberries or the grapes as a snack. And then when you have a healthy relationship with food, it's like, I could have the cookie, I could have whatever I want, but you might have one day you're like, I really want the grapes as a snack. And you don't see it as restriction. Because people go from one extreme to the next. When you start having freedom, and you're like, well, technically, like, I could order whatever I want. So like, why am I going to have greens for dinner? Why am I going to have the grapes as a snack? Like, I don't have to, but you're not depriving yourself. You could have whatever it is that you want, but it's the choice. So maybe one weekend you were eating out Monday, or maybe one weekend you were eating out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Disordered eating would be come Monday, you're forcing yourself to get back on track. You're forcing yourself to meal prep. You're forcing yourself to eat certain foods. That's disordered. Versus you come home from a weekend and you've eaten out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and you're like, okay, I should probably eat some vegetables. Not that I have to, but it's like, I also like care about my health and I want some nutrients. So then you have some vegetables on Monday, not out of like forcing yourself to, but you're like, it's important to get in vitamins and minerals and nutrients. Do you see the difference? There's a huge difference. Even so, my parents are very healthy people. They take really good care of themselves. And a few weekends ago, I asked them to come help us clean. We have a rental property. We have a rental property where there's two renters. Well, we're getting a renter and we had to renovate the bottom. Doesn't really matter. Anyways, and we needed to like renovate the entire bottom unit. So I asked my parents to come help us clean. And my parents knew that we were going to be here for a while, and they brought lunch with them. So they brought their home cooked meals with them to eat. That is not disordered eating. We could have went out for lunch, but my parents, like I said, they want energy. They enjoy pickleball. They want to have energy for that. Like they want to feel strong and healthy. So yeah, sure, we could have went somewhere for dinner or for lunch, but they chose to bring their own foods, not because, oh my God, I'm tracking my macros. My parents don't diet, but they did that because they just want to know what's in their food. They still go out for lunch. They still go out for dinner. I'm not saying that, but you can't see that as restriction. Even today, for example, Andrew and I, we were going to go tile shopping. So we need some backsplash for our kitchen. And I had a later breakfast. I hadn't had lunch yet. And we were leaving to go tile shopping. And it's an hour and a half to drive there. By the time we do the tile shopping, then it's an hour and a half drive back. Like that would be a long time. I obviously would need to eat something. And so I packed my lunch with me because I literally just spent the morning cooking. And it's a wise decision to be like, I just already made all this fresh food. Like I looked forward to it. I'm like, sweet potatoes, chicken thighs, like that's like, I was excited about that. Disordered eating is, I am so anxious. I don't know, what am I going to eat? Oh my God, what time am I going to get home? Oh my gosh, like, where are we going to stop? Like, no. Choosing to eat healthy and choosing nutritious foods is like, I'm going to bring this meal in case I get hungry. And if I want something, it's not, I'm bringing a lunch and I can't have anything else. It's like, I'm bringing a lunch, be prepared. Because if I get hungry, I want to make sure I have something with me. But if Andrew was like, hey, like, do you want to stop here? And I wanted to, I would. Right? So that's the difference. People who have a healthy relationship with food and who choose to eat healthy, they still go out for dinner, they still go out for lunch, they still have all their favorite foods. But when they are choosing nutritious foods, it's not for the intention of low calorie or eating less, but the intention behind it is, I want to take care of my health. Like I want to live until I'm like 1,000,000 years old. Like I want to live. I always have a banana on hand. Yes. Like just some snacks, right? And that's smart. Like that's not disordered. That's just like, okay, like I want to have a banana with me because if I get hungry, at least I have something. And this is the same with like meal prepping or like, having meals in the kitchen or in the fridge. I have healthy meals prepped in the kitchen, but it's not, okay, this meal needs to be for Monday's lunch. Okay, this is my snack for Tuesday. No, that's disordered. I used to meal plan and meal prep and be so neurotic. I would have sticky notes on my meal prep containers, and I would only allow myself to eat the foods that I prepped because I needed my macros to be on track. That's disordered. Saying you could only have these meals because there were so many times where I would spend hours. I'm not even kidding you guys. I would spend an entire Sunday, like 5 hours, spending hours in the kitchen, prepping all these meals to try to be perfect throughout the week. And then come Tuesday, if I wanted something else, I would not allow myself to have it. And then of course I would spiral into a binge. And Monica said, I'm always craving chocolate. Well, Monica, I crave chocolate as well too. But the difference between people who struggle with binge eating and people who don't is the people who no longer struggle with binge eating is they actually allow themselves to honor their cravings. And as a result, they don't feel the need to eat the entire package. So before, I used to be like, oh my gosh, why do I always want chocolate? But here's the thing. So Monica said, I'm eating 2 clementines right now. So this is a very important conversation. If you're craving chocolate, but you are choosing a different substitution because you feel like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't be eating chocolate, then what ends up happening is you have the 2 clementines but you still want the chocolate. So you have the 2 clementines and then you end up binging on the chocolate. Right? And this is where it's like, it would have been so much better if I just had the chocolate in the first place. Right? Monica said, yes, I can relate. Right? This is so important. It's so difficult to stop eating even after the point of fullness. Yeah. And this is because, again, when you're having urges, it feels like you don't have any control. And also, the feeling of fullness, it like signals to your brain, like, I can't just like, what's the point of stopping now? Like, I've already went balls to the wall. I've already ate so much, might as well just keep on going. And this is where the binging happens. It's like, oh, it's too late. I already ate too much. But it's not too late because you're not going to feel any better if you keep on eating, right? If you guys have any questions, you can drop it in the chat. I'm going to scroll back up. I think there was another question here, but I really just wanted to like nail this home. Like, you can still really prioritize your health without it being disordered. It's the intention behind it. Is grabbing snacks every 1 to 2 hours instead of having full meals a binge? No, but I would recommend having meals to prevent a binge, because if you're just snacking every 1 to 2 hours, but you're not actually having sufficient meals, number one, you're probably not eating enough. And number two, that can create strong urges to binge. Let's see here. What was the other question? I think Sophia had a question. Am I going to gain weight if I eat sweets every day and not be in a calorie deficit? Don't stop worrying about the calorie deficit, because being so worried if you're in a calorie deficit is actually going to create a binge in and of itself. And eating sweets every day is not bad. But again, if you feel like I'm bad because I have something sweet every single day, that's going to spiral into a binge. One of my clients that I'm working with right now, she cannot remember the last time that she binged. And she has something sweet every single day. But because she has a healthy relationship with food, she doesn't have any more urges. She can have something sweet and move on with her day with no binging. But if you are feeling bad about doing that, if you're depriving yourself, if you really want something sweet and you deprive yourself, that's when you end up binging on it. So it's much better to have something sweet than deprive yourself and binge. And still to this day, like, I have a sweet tooth. I haven't binged in 4 years. No urges to binge. I can be home alone. It can be late at night. It doesn't matter. And I still enjoy my sweets because cravings are normal. People who have a healthy relationship with food can crave chocolate. But the difference is I can stop after a few. I can stop when I'm full. I can stop after I've had a decent amount. Why? Because I don't judge myself. I honor my cravings, and I've gotten rid of my urges. I feel better about myself when I undereat after being overweight for so long. And I get that, but also it's like, undereating is not self-love. Undereating is not health. Undereating is punishment. Undereating is you not taking care of your body. You know, I used to see people who would say like, I only had this to eat today. And I was like, oh, like maybe I should like eat less. And then I was like, I don't even want to be that person. I want to be the person that, like, I work out. I want to have bomb ass workouts. Like, I even go to a yoga studio and they have like these yoga with weight classes, and it's freaking hard. And I want to be in there busting my ass, having so much energy, like crushing it and feeling proud of myself. But it's really hard to push yourself in a workout when you don't even have the energy. I used to undereat and barely eat, and I was a walking zombie. I would fall asleep in my yoga classes. I would go to the gym to check off the box to say I went to the gym, and I would literally feel like I wasn't even there because I didn't have any energy. And that's not self-love. That's the furthest thing from health. That's punishment. That's torture of your body. You deserve way better than that. I want to lose weight and I'm on a calorie deficit, but I hate counting calories and I end up binging. So what you need to focus on is you need to tackle your urges. You need to get rid of your urges so you stop binge eating. I worked with a client for 6 months. She completely ended her binge eating. And as a result, she actually released 20 pounds naturally without dieting. We don't do dieting in my programs. I help you get rid of your binge urges, have a better relationship with food, sustainably end your binge eating. In 6 months, she completely stopped her binge eating and she released 20 pounds. She did not track her food. She wasn't in a calorie deficit, but as a result of no longer binging, she released weight. Binging is really hard on your body. Binging is a stressor. Binging is all consuming. And when you're no longer on this pendulum swing of barely eating and then binging on thousands of calories and just having this be so hard on your body, you're going to release weight naturally. People like I'm in the healthiest, fittest body that I've ever been in. I don't diet. I don't track my food. I don't weigh myself. Why? Because I stopped my binging. And I have a healthy relationship with food. So you will be able to release weight naturally when you tackle your binge eating. Because if you don't actually tackle your binge eating, then what ends up happening is you go on the diet and you lose the 20 pounds, but you haven't gotten to the root of your binging. You haven't fixed your relationship with food. So you still have the all or nothing mentality. You still feel guilty about eating certain foods. So then the weight comes back on. And then you end up going back on the diet because the weight came back on, and then you keep trying to go back on the diet, but that's not the problem. You don't need another diet. You need a better relationship with food. Drop a yes in the chat if you're understanding this. Like, heck yeah, I know. I need to heal my relationship with food. Okay, let's keep going here. Monica says, oh, that explains why I'm so tired in the afternoon. Yes, you got to be fueling your body, you guys. Hey, Donna. Donna says, how do you stay consistent and not give up, not give in? So the biggest thing with staying consistent and not giving up is being part of a community. So I have my Root and Rewire membership. It's this badass community of other people who are healing their relationship with food and ending their binge eating. When you are surrounded by other people who are not giving into their urges, they're releasing food guilt, they're owning their food choices, they're no longer judging themselves for what they're eating, you become so much more consistent because you have the support, you have the accountability. Everyone's cheering you on and everyone else is making progress. And it literally makes you make progress so much faster because you're literally surrounding yourself with people who are doing it. Another thing with staying consistent is how you choose to speak to yourself. So if you have a binge and you're like, oh my God, I'm a failure. Yeah, why did I do that? Oh, this is so stupid. I'm never going to heal my relationship with food. And then you just kind of throw in the towel. You're never going to stay consistent. Versus you eat more than you wanted to, or you have a binge and you don't let that define you. You don't let that stop you. You're like, okay, I binged. Okay, well, you know what? Tomorrow's a brand new day. And you don't have the all or nothing mentality. So even if, let's say in the morning, you didn't have time for a morning routine, you still go for that walk. If you maybe overate a little bit at lunch, you can still choose a nutritious dinner, right? It's not getting that all or nothing mentality. Things don't have to be perfect. If you want to be consistent, you need to be part of a community. I would really, if you haven't checked out the Root and Rewire membership, I would definitely check that. We have the bomb-ass community of other people who are crushing their relationship with food and ending binge eating. So the community aspect, but then also choosing to keep going, even when things are hard. I had an entire podcast episode on this, and I said, the reason I'm binge free today is because I chose to never give up on myself. Even on the hard days, I kept going. Too many people will stay consistent day 1, day 2, day 3, and then as soon as they have a binge, like, see, I can't do it. As soon as they overeat, oh, I can't do this. The people who conquer binge eating keep going no matter what. And again, having that support and community will be really helpful for you. Paris said, I want to be able to eat breakfast, but in the morning I don't feel hungry, so I skip it. Any tips on what I can try to eat? So Paris, that's a really good question. And if you're genuinely not hungry in the morning, that's okay. Where it's unhealthy is you're hungry for breakfast and you're like skipping it on purpose because you got to try to save up calories or whatever it is. And that's not the case for you. So I wouldn't force yourself to have breakfast. If you're genuinely not hungry, that's okay. You can have breakfast at 11 a.m. or you can just eat at 1 o'clock. Like that's totally okay. If you're truly listening to your body and you're not hungry in the morning, that's okay. That's gentle nutrition. You're listening to your body. Now, you could just have something small if you maybe notice that like energy levels are not as high as you want them to be. So maybe you can have some like yogurt with some fruit, even some nuts, right? Even like a smoothie, you don't have to put 9 million things in it, but a smoothie, some yogurt, some fruit, some nuts. This is definitely going to be trial and error, but you could really, you can try that. You can try having some like fruit, nuts, yogurt, because breakfast doesn't have to be like eggs, bacon, toast, and a sandwich. Like it doesn't have to be like that. Again, a protein shake or some fruit and some nuts, you can definitely try that and see even how your energy is in your mood. I wish I didn't constantly worry about getting the weight back instead of enjoying my process. So Monica, I had a client that I worked with who lost 100 pounds. And then she came and she worked with me to heal her relationship with food. And she was terrified of having the weight come back on. And I told her, you constantly worrying about the weight coming back on is going to stall your progress. Because when you're so worried about gaining weight, you don't choose the option that's most satisfying. You continue to choose the lowest calorie option, and that's going to lead to strong urges. You're not actually honoring your cravings. You're going to try to push them off because, oh my gosh, I can't lose weight. You're going to still have an unhealthy relationship with exercise and force yourself to exercise because, oh my God, the weight better not come on. And when you're healing your relationship with food, you can't be focused on that. But as a result, like the client that I worked with that lost 100 pounds, when I helped her heal her relationship with food and stop binge eating, she never felt better in her own skin because number one, she was mentally healthy. She wasn't obsessing about the number on the scale or her weight or what she was eating anymore. She was having these satisfying meals that were so delicious that she didn't feel the need to overeat. And when you don't feel the need to overeat, you don't stress about putting on weight because you're not binging, you're not self-sabotaging. So as a result of no longer stressing about that, you're going to be in the healthiest, happiest body. And again, it's not even just about your weight. You can be down 30 pounds and be obsessing over food, be binging every single day, hating your body. Is that worth it? Compared to, let's say, even being at the same weight you're at right now. But if you were in the same body you were in right now, and you've never binged again, you didn't have a single thought about food, would that make you happy? So many people are just chasing weight loss, but you don't actually want the weight loss. What you actually want is a free mind to enjoy your life. What you actually want is no more urges to binge. What you actually want is to listen to your body and stop eating when you're full. That's what you're wanting, and that's what will happen when you heal your relationship with food. Monica's like, I agree with you for everything. I love it. Okay, great questions, you guys. You guys are freaking amazing. And I'm liking my own video because I think more people can see it if I like it. So if you're enjoying this, like the video or like comment on it. Okay. How do you feel about OMAD? I did that last year and and lost a lot of weight, but I gained it back. So again, when you're healing your relationship with food, you need to focus on healing your relationship with food. Not do intermittent fasting, not do any other freaking diets, because again, that's not what you need. Somebody who has a healthy relationship with food and they might do OMAD, but they don't have any urges, they don't think about food, so it's literally not a big deal. But if you're struggling with urges and food thoughts, and then you're literally telling yourself to not eat within a certain period, that's just going to make your binges worse. So you got to prioritize healing your relationship with food first and foremost. And then once you have a healthy relationship with food, you can do whatever it is that you want and it doesn't trigger a binge. Like I can literally do whatever diet that I want. Not that I'm ever going to diet again because who has the freaking energy for that? But I could and not spiral into a binge because I've gotten rid of my urges and I have a healthy relationship with food. So it doesn't feel like restriction. Paris says thoughts on meal prep. So again, meal prepping is totally fine. However, again, it's the intention. So if you're meal prepping and you're like, these are the only foods that I can eat, I can't go out for lunch. If I plan these meals, if I plan to have chicken on Tuesday, then I can't have pasta if I'm craving it, that's unhealthy. Meal prepping is beautiful when you want to like save time throughout the day, right? Like I'm a business owner. I've got client calls. I have a husband. I want to go for walks. Like I don't want to be spending every single day in the kitchen. So I meal prep so that I can save my time throughout the week. So if you're meal prepping to save you time, to have food ready, right? So you're not so impulsively snacking and then making your dinner. And then as you're making your dinner, you're like eating snacks and then you finish making your dinner and you're not even hungry. Like that's not ideal. So if you are meal prepping, if you're meal prepping for the sole purpose of like having just food ready to go and making it easier for you throughout the week, and you just want to have nutrient dense meals in your fridge so that you're not like snacking on cereal for dinner, like that's beautiful. I think that's amazing. But if you're doing it and you're like meal prepping all this stuff, and then you're like, somebody asks you to go out for dinner and you're like, no, because I already planned what I was going to have, that's unhealthy. So Paris, let me know if that was helpful. What do you think of a calorie deficit? Can I lose weight without it? Do not focus on being in a calorie deficit. You need to heal your relationship with food. And like I was saying, when you heal your relationship with food and you're no longer binging, your weight will naturally take care of itself. When you're so worried about like, am I in a calorie deficit? That's going to be so much more pressure for you. You're going to be thinking about food so much more and you're going to have strong urges to binge, because this is why it doesn't go hand in hand. When you're in a calorie deficit and you're eating less, it's like you have these strong urges to binge. And when you're healing your relationship with food, you're trying to get rid of your urges. So what you're doing is actually creating urges and you're trying to get rid of them, and it doesn't make sense. Okay. Does eating more protein avoid sugar cravings? Well, eating more protein can help you feel fuller longer. Yes, Monica. Ditch Decade Diets podcast. Go check it out. Considering you're just agreeing with everything that I'm saying, you should definitely join our membership. You should, Monica, I so see you in the Root and Rewire membership. You're just like, I feel like you're such a community person. Like you're already like a badass, like hearting this video, making all these comments. You're my type of person. I love people in my community who are just like so interactive. Okay, what was I saying? And you guys are asking such amazing questions. I love this so much. Okay, so question, does eating more protein avoid sugar cravings? So eating more protein will keep you more satiated and fuller for a longer period of time. So like if you have, let's say, cereal for breakfast and you don't have any protein, you might even notice that you get hungrier 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, compared to if you had a bowl of cereal with maybe like, I don't know, some like nuts on the side or a hard-boiled egg, you're going to feel fuller longer. So it's not a rule I need to have protein at this meal, but you might notice that you can go a little bit longer without food, right? And it just keeps you satiated and fuller. So that's what I would say. If I meal prep, I'll eat everything. So for those of you guys who are like, how do I heal my relationship with food? I would really recommend jumping into my Root and Rewire membership. It has all the foundational tools to heal your relationship with food. I teach you how to get rid of the all or nothing mentality, how to stop emotional eating, how to stop thinking about food 24/7. I teach you exactly what to do before, during, and after a binge, how to still have like health and fitness goals without spiraling out of control. It starts at $97 per month, which is insane because There's incredible trainings. There's over 14 hours of trainings to improve your relationship with food that you can watch as soon as you join. There's a badass community. Every single day you have a community cheering you on, celebrating you. We do a monthly coaching call with me so you can ask your personalized questions. And there's also a monthly masterclass training. So every single month you learn something new to improve your relationship with food. So if you're interested in that, just message me right after this, or do it right now. Just message me membership, and I'll send you all the details and the link, but that's the best place to start if you're new. It starts at $97 per month to heal your relationship with food. I've had one client, I did a podcast episode with her. The link is actually in my bio to watch her testimonial, her video. I worked with her, and in 6 months, she ended her binge eating. And she tried on her own for 20 years. But she got plugged into the community. She used the tools, she used the community, and she's binge free now. And it's been 6 months. You don't have to try to figure out how to do this on your own. Okay. So just message me membership and I'll send you the link. All right, you guys, that is all for today. Thank you so much for being here. Again, you can just message me membership. I'll send you all the details. It's the best place to start. If you're like, where do I even begin? And you found a lot of value out of this, like, you got to be in the membership. The community is everything. You're going to feel less alone. You're going to have all the tools. You don't have to wonder, like, what do I do after a binge? There's an entire training on that. How to release guilt, how to stop thinking about food, how to stop feeling so anxious when going out for dinner. All that is inside of the membership for $97 per month. So message me membership and I'll send you all the details. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Bye, Jillian, Carly, Gabrielle, Nika. Have an amazing rest of your day, you guys, and we'll see you soon. Bye.